Hello and welcome to Now Network News, coming to you from our studio here in downtown Clarksville on the square. And it is a beautiful day. And if you guys are hungry, let me just tell you, we are going to be talking about some awesome food today. I'm Nora Almazan. Now we're talking. And we're talking with Todd Strickland and Noel Hunt, and they are from Your Pie, one of my favorite destinations right here in Clarksville. They have a little secret they're going to tell us too about a new store or restaurant they're going to be opening up soon. Todd, thank you for being here today.
It's good to be here.
And Noel, we're glad to have you.
Yes, thank you.
Now, you guys are related.
We are. He is my son-in-law. He's married to my oldest daughter, Hannah. And, the secret is we're opening another Your Pie in Toccoa. And I think the secret's out for the most part, but we're hoping and believing that May 2nd will be our grand opening and that we'll do our dine and donate, which we can talk about, but the 28th, 29th, and 30th. So next week.
It's going to be fun. But first, let's get some information out here. So, Noel, was he hard to convince to allow you to marry his daughter?
I don't really feel like there was a whole lot of arm twisting. I did ask for permission and I was kind of old school, but I don't think it was too difficult. I think he gave me the go ahead without too much pain.
One thing Rhonda, my wife, and I did from the time my youngest child was born we prayed for whoever she was going to marry. We didn't know this person. Maybe they weren't born yet or whatever. We prayed. So we prayed for Noel for 26 years. They got married. They were 26 years old. So they weren't kids. Both of them had traveled all around. Noel is actually from Maine. He grew up, went to high school in Maine, and somehow or another, I find it so interesting. One thing about Clarksville and Toccoa, we were in Toccoa the other day, and there's these people, they're just from Massachusetts walking on the sidewalks. It's like, you guys are locals? Oh, no, we're from Massachusetts. And you can come in our restaurant here in Clarksville just about at any time throughout the week. And there's somebody from somewhere in the country. How did these things happen? How did Noel get down here? And he met my daughter and we're blessed to have him as our son-in-law. So now I wasn't too hard on him. I saw how happy Hannah and he were together. So,
but how long did it take you to like him?
Well, it wasn't bad.
Don't ask questions.
When you're a father, it's tough with your daughters.
Yes.
Right. And you just at some point, especially like Hannah was a grown woman, so we had to let her. She didn't make too many bad decisions. She did not make a bad decision with Noel, so he just needs to keep it up, keep up being.
And you guys work together.
Yes.
So how many Your Pies do you have, Todd?
Well, so right now we only have the one. We have Clarksville. I have this is our fourth. Toccoa will be our fourth one. At one point in the last year, we owned the Watkinsville location, which we sold, and we owned our Dahlonega location. We opened that in 2019, managed to make it through the pandemic, and actually business was really on an uptick. And the landlords there decided to double or triple our rent, and wasn't feasible for us to stay there. So we closed it and took all the equipment out of Dahlonega and said, we're going to store it. And if God opens up an opportunity for us to open one somewhere else, we'll do it because we've got all this equipment, and those of you that run businesses understand that when you buy stuff, it's worth a lot. But when you sell it used, it's not worth anything. Pennies on the dollars. So the only way we'd make money on it and it'd have some value is to open a restaurant. So we
took our time with it. We didn't rush into Toccoa, I would say. We almost gave opportunities not to because we didn't want to stumble and force something that didn't feel right. But they've been very welcoming. I mean, there's a lot of excitement. I'm stoked for
Tell
it
me,
personally. But
what is it about Your Pie? Why do you like it?
Well, I didn't know it going into Your Pie. My first job was pizza. Pizza's it's a fun, easy thing. It's delicious, right? And it's something that it's a family thing, it's shareable. Your pie is a fun concept. I love, it started in Athens 17 years ago, and it's came out of a college environment, and I feel like it's really it's nice for college towns, but it's a family thing, brews, gelatos. It's kind of that third space, I feel like, that you can come and gather and eat and not worry.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And what do you think is different about your pie, Todd, that than just your regular ordinary pizza? Now, I know myself what's different about it, but what do you think?
Yeah. And, even as a franchise, we, as a business, you're always trying to define what makes you different, what separates you, why your pie, and, I'll give some of the basics to it. It's a little deeper than this, but ultimately, we make our dough. And I say that we have a plant that is in Watkinsville, Georgia, that makes all of the dough for all of the your pies, and they ship it to us, and then we use it in the store. It's more consistent that way. And so we don't have to have the space to make the dough in the back, right? So we can have a smaller kitchen. But so we make our dough, we make our sauces, we make most of our dressings that we put on the pizza, and we chop our vegetables, and we use the best ingredients possible, and then we handcraft it. So that's our really the foundation of who we are is a handcrafted pizza. We're gonna make that pizza. It's fresh. We're tossing out the dough. So we spin the dough out, we toss it. If you ever get a chance and you're in Clarksville, come see when Michael's working, and he's a young kid that's, I think Michael's in the 11th grade now, about to be a senior, but he's incredible. I mean, he can spin the dough every which way up behind his head, from one hand to the other. Just, it's incredible.
Yes, my grandchildren were trying to do it the other day, and I'm like, oh my goodness, because like you said, they'll give kids a little piece of the dough, like they cut the circle for the little pie, and my grandchildren were trying to flip it and spin it, and I was thinking, oh gosh, there's no telling where this dough is going to go, but it's really neat. It's really neat.
Yeah, so I think the fact that you can kind of create your own pizza, Noel said it's shareable, but at the same time, we know that if we went around the table here, we all like something different on a pizza. Some people like pepperoni, they don't. Some people like olives, or they don't. So when you go to a normal pizza place, you're either halving it down the middle. Our 10-inch is what we started with, and we had a kid's pizza that's 7-inch, and now we have 14-inch pizzas. But the reality is, on a 10-inch, it's a personal pizza. It's your pie. You make it the way you want it. Our pie becomes your pie, and when you create it the way you want it. And oftentimes, like Nora, if I said to you, when you make a pizza, how do you make your pizza? You make it the same every time you come in?
Actually, I do, because I love the combination of the pineapple and those fresh green bell peppers.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that is just through the roof. Yeah. It's wonderful.
So you could, how you want yours. I don't know that. I mean, I would eat that. There's not much on a pizza that I wouldn't eat. But sometimes people, like, especially like kids, you remember in Home Alone where he got his own cheese pizza, his own personal cheese pizza. Deal. He was so excited about that. Well, that's what we're creating, that moment all the time for our customers. And it's fresh ingredients. It is a fresher pizza. It does make a difference. Better ingredients, fresher. We cut our vegetables. We're not bagging and pulling them out, pouring them there. We do it there in the restaurant, and it makes a difference. Things like that make a difference.
And the brick oven. I mean,
yes, exactly. That's what I was just about to talk about.
It is a specially made pizza stone hearth oven, and the flame is fun for people to see, and it's not like a robot making your pizza, right? It's not a conveyor belt. So, there's a little bit of skill involved with baking a pizza and letting it be just right.
Yeah, there's something that happens in that takes us 4 to 6 minutes to cook a pizza with the way the oven and the stone cooks it to make that crispness to the, I actually think our pizzas, I enjoy them when they're really cooked, not burnt, but well done. A little charring's normal, but it's so good that way. So good. And our product from starting with pizza has been, kind of the foundation of who we are. I was, you maybe ask this later, how did I come about being in your pie? But we were in Athens. I'm from Athens. And my wife tells me about this place in about, I guess, 2007, 2008. I came home from work. She said, you've got to go to Europe. You've got to go to this place called Your Pie. You make your own pizza, and I'm like, okay. And she says, it's in the Beechwood Shopping Center in Athens. So we eventually made it over there. And it was just such an incredible experience to have your pizza made. I think sometimes when you first come in, you don't quite understand. You can choose from our signature pizzas, but you can build your own. You can add, take away. At that time, we charged for ingredients. We don't charge for ingredients now. We have a one price, and you can get whatever you want on the pizza.
Oh yeah.
And so, although we do recommend like 4 to 6 toppings, you can put too much on a pizza. We try to tell people that, but some people like that. The vast majority of people understand that sometimes less is better.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Yeah, less is more. But at any rate, we saw what Your Pie was doing, and it just blew up in Athens. He ended up opening 3 or 4. He had the original Beechwood, then he had one downtown. He had one on the east side of Athens. And in Millage Avenue, you got 5 Points in Athens. So he had 4 in Athens at one time. And then and in amongst that time, the Watkinsville restaurant opened up. We didn't start it. We didn't open Watkinsville. We bought it 4 years after it opened. I was working for Bank of America at the time. I was a bank manager. I had been in the financial field. I'd actually been a financial advisor, and I did that for a while. And then I worked for Bank of America, and I was stressed. It was just very stressful. You don't
even have to explain.
Yeah.
I think anybody who says the word banker,
money,
money,
troubles.
Of course, we were coming out of coming out of the Great Recession and all of the regulations that came out of that.
Mm-hmm. It
made banking just every moment was stressful. Yeah. And I used to tell my wife, and she'd say, "Don't say that," but it was true. I just wanted her to be prepared. I'm like, "Look, at any given day, I could either quit or get fired."
Mm-hmm. Or drop dead of a heart attack. And that was the other thing. I was in my mid to late 40s at that time. And I just said, the stress of this, I'm not going to make. I got to work till I'm probably 65. That's another 20 years. I'm not going to make it. Mm-hmm. And so we were looking around for some opportunity. And the Your Pie, the original Your Pie, was managing the location in Beechwood, the Bank of America in Beechwood, which those that are on here may know where that is in Athens. It's a iconic. Oh, I can see it. I can see it right now. So were you going there every day for lunch?
Well, we went some. Yeah. And, but I started talking to them. And so I had the other ideas and things we were going to do, maybe we're going to do, but I started talking to him, and the guy said, by the way, I think the guy that owns the Watkinsville location might want to sell. And it just turned out that I had a friend that knew the guy that owned it. And before, I'm telling you, in 2 to 3 weeks, I had bought Watkinsville. I had bought that restaurant.
That is really cool. And, now, Noel, were you in the picture at this point?
Yes, but I think I was working at AT&T maybe at the time. So me and Hannah were together. I don't know if we were married yet.
I don't think y'all were married.
Which means we hadn't been together very long, because we dated maybe 6 months before we proposed.
Right.
But yeah, so I was in the air. I knew kind of what was happening. I knew because he worked at the bank when we first got together. I knew he was looking at transitioning to a small business owner, and Your Pie, and that Your Pie was 5 minutes down the road from where we all lived. So it couldn't have been more convenient to start.
Yeah, and Noel came on and started helping me about the time I opened
within a year
Clarksville. It was open.
That's what I was going to ask you. So
I bought Watkinsville in 2015, and I opened Clarksville 2 years later. Watkinsville was struggling when I bought it, and I didn't even know to the full extent how much it was struggling, but it was. And we were able in about a year or two to kind of turn that restaurant around and start making money. And then I started looking around, and I had in my mind that I wanted to put a Your Pie in Cornelia. And I came up here and met with a real estate person up here who, and I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. I'd like to thank him. Who he was with was it the Waters, not Fresh Waters, something Waters.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't think of the name of it. But at any rate, this guy took us around. If he hears it, thank you. I don't know that I've properly thanked you. But he took us and showed us around the city like people will do, and tried to show you locations.
Mhm.
And he rolled me up here. And this was, keep in mind, downtown Clarksville was burnt to the ground.
Oh, I
at that time.
know. That was, I was about to say that because that
this
was a
late
tragic
2016.
year. Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking late 2016.
It was a
and he
vision
said,
at that point.
Todd,
Mhm.
this is where you want to put your restaurant. And I said, what? And so we got out, walked over there, and they had a mural of what it was going to look like, an architectural rendering of what it was going to look
The
like.
Main Street.
Yeah, of what the new buildings are going to look like. And I was like, you're not kidding. This is incredible.
Mhm.
And I ended up meeting Mary Beth Horton and the mayor, and a week or so later, and I mean, we worked it out, and I got to choose the spot, which is right beside the plaza. We have a great patio there, and here's the kicker. This is the real hard thing. See, sometimes in life, you want to do things, and people tell you, no, that's not the thing to do. Okay, I had a friend that would always say, you have dream fuelers and dream doulers. Well, I had some dream doulers on this one, and that was the franchise wanted us to go into these. The franchise wanted us to go into larger towns. They wanted us to go into Atlanta. They wanted us to go into Charlotte. They wanted us to go into Birmingham, big cities. And I said, no, I don't want to be a small fish in a big sea. I want to be a big fish in a small sea.
Right.
And I feel like it'll fit in. And about the same time I was opening this restaurant, there was a family opening one in Covington. And we opened those two restaurants, and they ended up being in the top
restaurants
in all of your pie.
Wow.
Still are. Covington is the number one restaurant in all of your pie, and we're in the top 2 or 3. Probably
We're going to
number
make
3 or
you
4.
number one.
We need to be number one.
That's what I'm talking
But I mean,
about.
when you think about it, and they talk about us almost at every meeting that we have with franchisees and things, Clarksville Your Pie is brought up because they cannot still get their brain wrapped around how we are doing so much business in a town of 2,000 or less.
I think it's because you do it well. I mean, y'all really do. You have a class act over there, and the customer service is absolutely incredible. And so now you're going to transfer that to Toccoa.
Yes.
That's the plan. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, Noel.
So I will say we spent this last week interviewing and had a great turnout, but I've been trying to tell them, I don't want to compare because there will be a little healthy competition, I'm sure, being so close. But I would tell these kids, have you been to our Clarksville location? That's the model. I mean, it's going to be a little bit different because Toccoa is going to have its own flair, its own personal touch.
Well, we are trying to duplicate, right?
But we are trying to, the customer service has to be there. The pizza's great, but it's not going to be enough for everybody to become regulars. I keep using this term, friends and neighbors. And that's who we're going to be serving. And that's who I want everybody in Toccoa to be.
Absolutely. And so now tell me the plans. You guys are opening up, fingers crossed, May 2nd. But I think this is really neat, and I want to make sure that we get this in. You're going to have a dine and donate. What does that mean? And why is that so important for people?
So when we opened up, and I love this about Your Pie, we want to be a part of the community. We want to positively impact our communities. Noel's talking about, how many people we're hiring. We employ 25 to 30 people here in Clarksville, and we'll do the same over in Toccoa. We're gonna start out with probably 30 or 35 employees, and a lot of these kids, they need these jobs. They pay bills, and they help their families out. I'm amazed at some of these kids telling, like, what are you going to do with the money you make? Oh, well, I'm going to help my family pay their bills. It's really heart, breaking to some extent to think about a young kid doing that, but that's awesome that they do. But going back to what we do to try to, with the Dine and Donate, we really want to be a part of the community. We want to give back first. So, a biblical, you give the first 10%, right?
Amen.
And so when we opened Clarksville, we partnered with Circle of Hope, and we do 3 days. All of the food is free on those days, and we sign people up. We'll do the same thing in Toccoa, and we're going to partner with Toccoa Life Pregnancy Center, and really am impressed with these people. One of the things that they do that's so incredible is they provide free ultrasounds to moms that are pregnant. And that it's free. And a lot of these people that are in these situations, a lot of them are young. They don't have money. They might not have insurance. Those types of things are very expensive. They offer prenatal care and support on a lot of levels. And so we're really excited about being involved with them. We will be doing that on the 28th, 29th, and 30th. And again, we will basically give all of the food away. So if you walk in, and I'm going to let Noel talk about so you say, well, how do we do it? Why do we do it? Well, first of all, we got to train our staff. So we have a training on the weekend before, and then that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a lunch and dinner rush type scenario. We will have our staff in there. We'll be able to train them, okay, on how to make pizzas and prepare it. And they'll talk about the slots and things like that.
Yeah. So it's kind of a orchestrated stress test is what I'm going to call it. So we will be sending out a social media link invitation, and it'll be shareable. So we're not going to be really turning people away, but it's going to be slotted. So it'll be 30 people per 30 minutes. That way we can get a lot of people in while it being kind of under control, so that our team can really get, sharpen their skills. They're going to have a couple days of training prior to that, but this is going to be our introduction to the community. It's going to be them seeing us hustle in to make their food right and also give them a great service at the same time.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. People fill in, you make a kind of a reservation,
It's
right?
like a reservation, yeah.
Okay, and you can do this online?
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be done online. We're going to have, once we're completely sure that we're going to open on the 2nd, we will put the link out. And matter of fact, I'll share it. Maybe y'all can share it. We can have
Absolutely.
This is days, not weeks from now.
This is just
like I know.
Yeah. So, and what'll happen is over the next week, people will sign up for these slots. And we're hoping that, everybody, the mayor, everybody that's helped us, get to where we are will come and participate in it. And what happens is when the person walks in, people from Toccoa Life Pregnancy Center will be there, just like people here in Clarksville with Circle of Hope. Right. They stand up front. They're our greeters.
They get to share their
check
message.
them off and say, "Oh yeah, here's your reservation." And they're like, "What's going on?" And they'll tell them, "Hey, I'm here with Toccoa Life Pregnancy Center. I'm just I've partnered with Your Pie, and there's no charge for the food today. We just ask that you give a donation. If you want more information."
Any amount,
you
right?
Give them an amount. You give
$5, $100,
you
whatever.
Give none if you don't want to. I mean, we're not pressuring anybody. But in reality, we raised almost $6,000 for Circle of Hope when we did it up there. I'm hoping to do $4,000 to $6,000 for Toccoa Life Pregnancy Center. If somebody you can write a check. We've got ways you can donate with a card. You can pay cash. The main entree is free. If you get other things, you will buy it that night. But the main entree is free. Okay. And
that's awesome.
And so it's a great way for us to start out our relationship with Toccoa.
Oh,
okay.
We are so excited about that. I mean, that is absolutely incredible. So you guys have got to put that on your calendar. Make sure that you're aware that Toccoa Your Pie is opening up where? Where's the location?
So we'll be right in the middle of downtown. It's 46 Doyle Street, Toccoa, of course.
It's about two doors down from the DMV.
Right.
Everyone knows where that is.
So there's public restrooms, there's Breezeway right in the middle there, and then us. And we've got a coming soon banner up and our signs up, so you can't miss us.
What will your hours be when you open?
We'll be 11 to 9, 7 days a week.
Okay. And your website?
yourpie.com/Toccoa.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That is perfect. Listen,
We also are on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Come out and follow us. Follow us on Facebook if you would, or Instagram. We'd love that.
It has been so great talking with y'all. We are so excited about this new location. We love the one here in Clarksville. If you've not tried it, you need to come over and try it. And we look forward to the Your Pie in Toccoa. It's at 46 Doyle Street. And just keep it on your radar, May 2nd. You have been listening to Now We're Talking with Todd Strickland and Noel Hunt with Your Pie. Thank you.